Here we are, folks. With only one episode remaining, I can officially say we're in the endgame now of Murder Drones. So, after 7 long months of waiting, an entire pilot for a completely different show, a greatly in-depth bank account, and a whole 12-hour livestream, we are finally back with the Killer Robots. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Sleepy Star. In today's video, not only are you going to get my personal thoughts on the episode, but you are also going to witness a almost adult man losing his voice over robot waifus. Just roll the clip. Oh! Jay! Go!
You know why I keep you around here?
What? You can't end the episode like this. Not like this. No, not like this. Not like this. You can't end it like this. Anything but 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 this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are we in... What the hell? Yeah, let's just move on. But before we actually start reviewing, let me give you a quick summary of the episode. This is Mass Destruction. The episode begins with a flashback telling the audience, yep, this is lore alright, in which we find ourselves in a cathedral with a almost cultist-like ritual happening as we speak. We then get introduced to a character named Dr. Chambers, checking in with the crew that are trying to mimic the Exorcist franchise, starring Nori as our main star. But realize, oh wait, we can't forget Yavena. So Dr. Chambers set off to retrieve her. However, by the time he gets back, the whole place is a complete chaotic nightmare. You can almost say it is a mass destruction. No laughs? Alright, fine. Nori gets a new makeover, the lead scientist is having a blast, and Dr. Chambers is probably fine. Yeah, let's go with that. Concluding this flashback, we are now back to modern day as we see Nori still living and breathing in her newfound gamer girl aesthetics. While Nori goes searching for diamonds on the other side of the mineshaft, we are back to the beloved episode 6 elevator. Yes, the episode 6 elevator, where we find our main cast all miserable after going through one heck of a journey, what we humans call dead end. Realizing the situation they are in, with all his strength, and desperately tries to get back, but despite his efforts, ultimately failing in the process. The group then has a quick moment between each other, but N, the way he is, accidentally spills the beans and revealed the conversation he had with Tessa in the previous episode. Shocked by this, Uzi goes all out nuclear, causing the place to cave in, separating the group. Meanwhile, on the surface, we got some desperately needed screen time for Lizzie and Thad as they start heading to the disassembly drone lair. But honestly, who cares? The main takeaway here is obviously the J screen time. J appearance aside, we then cut back to N, playing old Jigsaw here. He's now going through the trouble of not only seeing his old dead crush coming ever so slightly closer to him, but also taking a trip down memory lane. While N is having the time of his life, Uzi gets a boring tour of the place, finds the exact cathedral, lucky you, and gets an exclusive screening of the flashback from earlier. Going back to N, yeah, this episode really loves to go back and forth with these two. Gets dragged to the mysterious abyss, but thankfully saved by Nori at the last second. Thad and Lizzie get some more screen time, Jay blow up some more stuff, Khan is back, Tessa has a standoff against wait, hold on. Oh, it's just a FNAF reference. After that jumble mess, we finally get a brief explanation of the origin of the core collapse incident, narrated by Yo truly, Nori. And in Nori chit chat about family drama, blah blah blah, and we cut to Uzi alone once again. However, it seems Uzi isn't alone after all, with Doll appearing out of nowhere, warning her about the upcoming dangers. Uzi then encounters Tessa, with Tessa about to almost kill Uzi, and once again jumps in, saving the day. And then Larry Mortal Kombat style Tessa, which is followed up with probably one of the coolest fight sequences of the show, between the one and only N and the fully infected Uzi. And if you hadn't had enough already, just you wait, my friend. After N and Uzi catch up about relationship drama, with Nori leaving the chat, it is revealed that Tessa, yes, Tessa James Elliott, has been Sin this entire time. With only a few minutes of the episode left, let's just wrap up things quickly. Thad and Lizzie gets even more screen time. Jay, my queen, got some well-deserved dialogue. And the episode ends with Uzi sacrificing herself for some car keys. Oh yeah, we're in space now. So, what did I think of this episode? This episode was just pure insanity. Yep, I said the title of this video, roll credits, blah blah blah. There's so much happening in this episode that you can't even compare the pacing with the previous episode. And is it me? But what happened to the budget and the rating? First off, did the glitch crew just won the lottery or something? Because it looks so good. Obviously, it's probably just some new software for the animation team, but you cannot tell me this is peak Murder animation. And second of all, this episode did not hold back. This episode was giving off true Liam Victor's horror to even the early days of Scary Story Time with Liam, especially the amount of gore we had presented on screen. As in for the music on the other hand, chef kiss. Anyways, as in for the character of the episode, as always, there are plenty of moments to discuss, starting with the main cast, of course. Despite the episode showing a fair amount of scenes between the main two, this was definitely a end-focused narrative, as we see him change a lot from his previous goofy, awkward personality, and does a lot more than Uzi. Speaking of Uzi, Uzi was just fine during this episode. Not much to comment about. She had some funny moments, but that's really it. Most of the screen time is just dedicated to her exploring the ruins of the laboratory, or just reaction to the things that are happening on screen. This could also be said to her counterpart, which is Doll, as Doll barely made a presence in this episode. However, that should be expected, as she also didn't do much in the previous one, besides being a lifeless corpse once again. You know, if I had a quarter for every time they show a important character death off screen, I would have 2, which is not much, but strangely happened twice. Moving on down the list, Jay, obviously the best character, had a cool comeback, but it was devastating to say that she only had like 2 lines of dialogue. Furthermore, Nori is just fine as a character, and somewhat disappointing. She is just a Uzi but with a new coat of paint. Her only purpose in this episode really was just bring up more lore. However, on the plus side, I really did enjoy the interactions she had with N. I thought it was neat and some of the better things in the episode. However, I would definitely love to see more of her character, and because so far, all we got was some quick flashback sequences and some chit chat with our lovable friend N. However, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yak's favorite, Tessa. Tessa was something alright. Throughout the show, I always appreciate the screen time that Tessa has as a character, because we never really see a human perspective on the side of things, which brought in more interesting interaction with the crew. But I think we all know why we are here. The Tessin moment. Am I right, Yaks? Overall, the scene was screaming Liam Victors all over itself, and probably one of the coolest moments that utilized the creepiness of Sin. Sin already has the potential of being a very uncomfortable character. However, the scene alone takes the spotlight, in my opinion, and caused the entire fanbase to go wild. Now with my negatives, as no episode is perfect, this episode was way too much sometimes. Even if you are a casual fan just watching the hell out of it, or just a sleepless theorist, you still gotta admit that there was so many things that was happening that it took me a few minutes to even process the basic outline, and multiple watches to write the script. Just like what many have said, this episode led to more questions rather than answers. Another negative of this episode was that this episode really hated Doll. Look, I never was a huge fan of Doll, but the amount of disrespect that Doll received in this episode was just so laughable. Doll was always portrayed as a surviving victim of the disassembly drone attack, as shown in episode 3, wanting to avenge the death of her parents. However, ever since then, all we really got was some brief interaction with Tessa, and again a lifeless corpse. Now, if we compare this scene to the episode, what did we really got? A off-screen death and a sudden end to her character? I understand the off-screen death to bring suspense, but ending her character story like that was kind of confusing to me. It just doesn't make sense. And for my last negative, Jay did not got enough screen time. Nevertheless, despite the issue I had with the episode was an absolute blast of a time and one hell of a reaction. That's really it for me.